What's up, y'all? It has been a while. I have not recorded one of these videos in a really long time. For those of you who don't know me, if you look at my channel, I am the guy who really only uploads Linkstrider content. It's been a long time since I last uploaded, so we're going to talk about what is the current Linkstrider meta, because it has changed quite a bit. So how do you actually play support? Really, you're supposed to be playing very passive. You may have seen some supports in ganks where they're just running around like monkeys, supporting their team. That's the ideal way of playing support. Make sure no one dies, heal, buff your team, assassinate people. You get the idea. You're playing like an actual support. Do your job. And here's a diagram that what would be going on as a support. You see the support, he's keeping his tethers active, he's using his Val commands, he's buffing his teammates, and you notice he's carrying someone, and we'll be talking about that later in the video. So what oath would be best for this playstyle? Well, it'd be Linkstrider, of course, because your tethers are constantly buffing people from afar, so as long as they're active, you can keep running around like a monkey. And you don't really need to be Jetstriker to have good mobility. I mean, you could just invest into mobility mantras to have the same mobility as a Jetstriker, you know? Like, you don't need to make your whole oath around it. And plus, I like having some sort of option to heal my teammates and buff them, you know, with my tethers. And speaking of tethers, they actually do provide some buffs. So surprisingly, this isn't really known that much, but here's a lot of buffs on the screen for you. You're giving a 20% damage resistance, increasing your teammates' attack by 5%. You're increasing their movement speed, which will then in return proc talents like Speed Demon, which is a 30% damage increase. You can slow enemies, and overall, just keeping your tethers active, you're just giving them heals. So that 20% damage resistance is really strong. To make more sense on why this is so strong, let's say your friend's build has 500 health. That 20% defense buff you're giving them, you just added 100 health to their build because you just gave a 20% defense buff. You know? It's pretty good. So keep your tethers active. It promotes it. Linkstrider is actively promoting you to keep your tethers active. You're giving all these buffs, so do it. So let's talk about what attunements are particularly good for a Linkstrider. So we have pure support, semi-support. A pure support is someone who invested all their points into just utility, mobility, survivability, just everything except for combat. That's what a pure support is, and in my opinion, is the strongest form of support. A semi-support is just a generic PvP build, but you have little things here and there that make you a bit more unique. Let's first start with pure support. So while I'm making the pure support list, you're going to notice that nothing's going to go in S tier. And that's because pure support uses multiple attunements. It's reliant. We usually use around 2 to 3 attunements for a pure support build as we focus on the utility, the passives, and the survivability, you know? So for flame, for pure support, it's going to get a B tier. Because if you invest just 20 to 30 flame, you're getting really good flame mantras, like Flame Assault, Flame Leap. If you invest a bit more, you can get things like Graceful Flame, which is really nice only if you're doing depth skanking. If you're not doing depth skanking, don't invest for Graceful Flame. But if you are, do it. For Gale, same kind of logic. We're going for the passives, but I'm actually gonna move this in front of Flame here. Because Gale is also pretty good. You have things like Wind Step, which pair really nicely for your mantras. So, for example, a little combo I like to advocate is using Wind Step and then using Sustain. You know, get some airtime. You have things like Air Pressure, where if people block your mantras, you get what's called a Gale Dash, making your next dash way stronger. My favorite, Wind Passage. Wind Passage is very important on any pure support build. You need Wind Passage. Why? Because it can teleport you. If my friend is fighting someone and someone's chasing me, I can just Wind Passage through who my friend is fighting. Like, I could just Wind Step, Wind Passage over, and now I'm on the opposite side of the gank because Wind Passage is that helpful. It stalls. Thunder Call, very good as well. You'll use things like Sparkswap to pull people out. Yes, you have command all return, but sometimes you may not be in range. So Sparkswap, pretty situational, but it's very helpful. You have things like Grand Javelin, Comboed with Grand Skewer, you're basically turning your Javelin into a utility launcher because you can push people with it. It's really good in water ganks because of that. I personally love Thundercall for Static Clone. As anyone who knows me, I advocate this a lot. Static Clone is just free iframes and you go invisible. So if someone's chasing you, you just pop Static Clone, go in a whole other direction, and now you bought some time. For Shadowcast, I'm going to put this in a D tier for your support. It doesn't offer too much, but it's not completely useless. It has a few noticeable things. Clutching Shadow, definitely the best thing for support. Doesn't target allies, really short cooldown. It's really good. You can get Wraith Path. Not really. That's quite a bit of an investment, so I wouldn't really recommend it. And then you could go. There's like that one Shadow Eye move that anyone in the field can't cast monsters. I mean, you could do that as well, but really, Shadow's not that good to invest high into. It's not useless, but you shouldn't really be investing into it on a pure support build. I always do one. Bloodrend, I don't really know too much about Bloodrend currently. I mean, it's still quite new. I'd honestly give it a C tier, because I definitely want to give it a B or A tier for pure support, of course. The most notable thing about Bloodrend is that you're getting free sustains. So if you invest 16 into blood, you can get temporary HP, and that temporary HP can be used for sustains. The issue with that is you're only losing 4% health, and losing 4% health on a pure support build, that's not really hard to recover when you have things like Conditional Runner to get your health back, or Bloodless Gems to get your health back, and Talents as well. I mean, that 4% can be easily regained. Iron Sing, similar issue with Shadow. You shouldn't invest high into it. Like, I only used Iron Sting for Rampart. That's it. I don't use it for anything else. I don't view it to be good to invest high into on a pure support. By the way, this is just for pure support. We haven't spoke about semi-support. This is just for pure support. Ice. Ice is kind of... I'm really in between C or B. I'd put this above Bloodrend. The Ice Hero Blade crit is really good, but you're not really going to be using Hero Blade much on a pure support. Ice Daggers are nice. Ice Eruption is nice. You know? I personally don't use Ice on pure support, but it's definitely there. Let's talk about semi-support now. For semi-support, for Bloodrend, I'm going to put it in A tier. Because Bloodrend covers your sustain cost. Now, in a pure support, that's not really a big issue. You're only losing 4% health. And for those of you who are wondering, when I'm saying 4% health, I'm assuming you're going to be using the Darkscorn, which halves your sustain cost, just to be clear. Bloodrend has good mobility, decent damage. I mean, it's just pretty good for semi-support. Same with Ice. I'd probably put this in an A tier. Iron Sing, I wouldn't really put this high on a support build. I'd probably just put this C tier. Shadowcast, same kind of goes here. Like, they don't offer too much support, really. I mean, I get that Shadow drains Ether. I get that Iron Sting can drain armor. But you can just do that on a PvP build. You don't really gotta be a support for that, you know? You have Flame. I mean, Flame, pretty good for support. Good mobility. Good survivability. Gale, pretty good for support. Probably put this in a B tier for semi-support. Thunder, you have things like Sparkswap. Probably put this in like a B tier. Maybe A tier, honestly. For two hybrids, only two notable hybrids for a semi-support are Shadow, Frost, and honestly, this is the S tier of this list. You should be going Shadow, Ice for semi-support because of Frost Prism. If you run Kano and Corrupted Field, shout out to Bunner, it's a really strong support build as you're doing nothing, no damage to your allies, but you're doing regular to enemies. So it's really strong. Flame X Gale, again, another good option. What the heck? You know, you're getting Fan the Flame. Good mobility. Good damage. And same logic if you did Corrupted Field with Kanor. You're just doing no damage to your allies. So you can freely hit them, getting health back for Bloodless, to then supply back with sustain to your teammates, you know, and they're not taking any damage from you while you're doing regular damage to the enemy. Only issue with these, they're reliant on Corrupted Field, but Corrupted Field is overall just an amazing bell. That's my list. This one, really accurate. This one, maybe not as much. Alright, let's talk about stats. So, for pure support, I used to advocate intelligence a lot. Not anymore, honestly. Too many potion nerfs, too many bomb nerfs. It's not worth the points. And if you could just get a potion ult if you really want to use potions, and it's almost the same thing. So, you know, I don't feel the need to invest 90 points into intelligence for when I could just get an ult to do most of the same. And don't give me that, oh, Salt Gunless makes stronger potions. No, it doesn't. There's not too many notable potions anymore, but damage decrease is amazing still. So yeah, maybe you may be asking, what do we use instead of intelligence? Well, we are going to be using agility, because it's amazing for pure support. Why? For assassination talents. Yes, you can assassinate in combat still. I don't know why people are saying you can't. You can still do it perfectly fine. You can provide multiple debuffs to the enemy. Having things like crippling consumption, which when you land a revenge on the enemy, they can't use mobility launches for 15 seconds. And by the way, when you land a revenge, you're going to teleport across the fight, so you're creating distance again. I mean, it's just overall really good. And strap a Bloodless on revenge, and now you're healing quite a bit with the other talents revenge offers. You can get None Left Behind, which if you don't have Audacity ready, it's a nice way to just pick up bodies and get out of there. Agility also offers Conditional Runner, which it's required on pure support, and you have Ghost, which again, required on pure support. And the best thing about agility is that it increases your climb. Climb is super good. Okay, assuming you're not doing Void Heart ganks, climb is really good to get away. Especially when you have Gale for wind step and stuff and kickoff, you can climb pretty good. And if you went Felinor, and that's ignoring other mobility mantras to go vertically up. It also increases your slide speed, your slide distance, and your roll distance. But yeah, agility way better than intelligence right now for pure support. Let me make that clear. Charisma, obviously, I mean, you're going to be going 80 to 60 charisma Postshrine if you do, because let me make this clear. Vow commands are affected by your level of charisma. So command return is the most popular one. It's by far the strongest vow command right now, because it could just revive players with a very short cooldown, and it could pull people out of combat. So you need at least 60 charisma to use command return. It is not a talent, it's a stat requirement. So you need 60 charisma. Okay? So if you did 80 charisma pre-shrine and now you have 55 charisma post-shrine, oh, now you lost your strongest vow command because you don't have 60 charisma anymore. So ideally you want 60 to 80 charisma post-shrine. I say 80 because you're going to have level 5 mantras. You also want propagandist. I don't care what you say. You're always going to use Sing. Pure support or semi-support. Always use Sing. Okay? Propagandist and Encore are so extremely powerful that I don't care what you say. Use it. Encore has so many unique interactions, and it just... oh my gosh. Like, honestly, Encore could just be an entire video on its own. Also, Taunt. Taunt's kind of good. You know, you prevent people from jumping. You make them take 20% more damage. And I don't know why people get this confused, but... people say that when you taunt someone, they deal more damage. That's only to you. They deal 10% more damage to who casted taunt. Anyways, that's it for charisma. Yeah, I mean, charisma for Vow Master, really. Locate's really nice. Run is amazing in water ganks. Well, not amazing, but it's decent in water ganks. Command Fight is really good. They deal more damage. They take less damage. Sacrifice. Command Sacrifice. I would only do this if you're going to use Command Live. So what Sacrifice does, you steal your vowed player's health. That's what it does. So on paper that sounds kind of terrible for a support, but if you do Sacrifice, then do Command Live, you just got your health back and you just revived your teammate back to full health. So it's an exchange. The only downside to this is you are health packing the enemy, so do it at your own risk. Return is just the strongest Val command. You can recall people, you can revive people, you can, if someone is being carried, you can still revive them, by the way. So if your friend is being carried away and the guy who's carrying your friend is just bolting away, you can command return to bring him back. It does not matter. He will be revived. If your friend is in the middle of a grip, you can return him to cancel a grip, but he won't be returned. So we can use things like Encore to briefly stun him to stop him from gripping, and then use command return to revive my teammate. Anyways, and we have command summon. Command summon was the most recent Val command. It's not that good, but it's pretty niche. Like, if my friend's across the map, I can teleport him to me. That's kind of it. It's pretty situational. It's more of just a quality of life. Willpower. I only use this for reinforced armor or HP talents. That's the only reason I'd go willpower for a support build. It doesn't offer anything else. Unless you go blank seer for some reason. Then you have strength. So strength, back then, I'd only do strength if you were like a semi-support build or like a PvP support build kind of thing. I would only go strength for that. But Audacity is quite worth using now, even on a support build. On a pure support, sorry. And what makes this really powerful is that Audacity has a short cooldown of 25 seconds, has a big range, basically proccing on like any enemy nearby, and can be procced with NPCs. So we can take these qualities and put it on a pure support build. So here's a clip from my friend. Here he is on screen. Leaving it in streamer mode though, because I don't want you guys harassing him. So here he is. He's supporting his team. Mate. Procs Audacity. And as you noticed, the guy who was affected by Audacity was stunned. Meaning he couldn't do anything in that state. But as you saw, his teammate was not affected by Audacity, getting a free combo in. And he also used Clutching Shadow to extend that stun if you didn't notice. Audacity support is very, very powerful. And I strongly recommend going for it on a pure support build. And hey, maybe even a PvP build. It's very strong. So, on a pure support, you're going to be spamming this a lot. So in this clip, no one was chasing him. Okay, so we got a pretty free Audacity. No one is targeting him in that clip. He got away with it. But if you're in an 8v8, right, and you're just constantly running around, and every 25 seconds you just quickly wind passage, static clone, and then proc Audacity, everyone near you in a big radius, every enemy is stunned. All 8 of those enemies are now stunned, and your allies get a bunch of free hits in. So yeah, use Audacity, will you? Honestly, I really hope this doesn't get nerfed. To be honest, I'm quite a bit afraid it would. If you do want to nerf it, I'd just give some like immunity. Make it so, you know, if you're affected with Audacity, you can't be Audacity again for the next 25 seconds. I mean, overall, it's not really that overpowered anyways, because if the support loses the bodyguard NPC, he can't do Audacity anymore. Also, as you notice, yeah, he is holding an NPC here to even proc Audacity, and this Audacity, for those experienced support players who know, this is actually the bodyguard talent. So support has a Archmage one day decided to, hey, we should add a funny meme talent for charisma, where whenever you're hit or set in combat, you summon a guard. And I bet they didn't think we would be using it for this, but we just carried the NPC, that same NPC we spawn, and we just use it to spam Audacity. I think this is a really unique support playstyle, so I really hope it doesn't just get nerfed or gutted completely or removed. Worst, removed, really. I really hope it doesn't. It's really cool. That's what I like. unique playstyles in Deep Oaken. We like creativity, don't we? So let's not remove it, please. It can be hard to pull off, especially if someone's just targeting you the whole time, you know? Anyways, next. Too much yap. Alright, let's speed through this. Next, we have Fortitude. You go this for Exoskeleton, Conditional Runner. Fun fact, Conditional Runner is just better healing than No Life King. So, you as a support are constantly running. So you're constantly proccing Conditional Runner anyways. Unless you're above 75% of your health. Next, we have Reinforced Armor. And, you know, staying alive, being more tanky. You as a support, if you're alive, no one really dies. So, you know, stay alive. And because of that, you can get your level 5 Reinforced, which is incredibly good. Those of you who know, a level 5 Reinforced lasts so long. Your teammates are taking 10% less damage. And it lasts a long time at level 5. It's very powerful. So if you go high Fortitude, always put Reinforced in your build. And I mean, hey, you yourself is taking less damage. And a nice thing is, Reinforced can actually offer you free sustains. So there's a talent called Grand Support. So anyone you support, you get some health back when you pop Reinforce on them. So you get a free sustain in there, assuming you're running the Darkscorn. So hey, free benefit, you know. This is a tricky subject. Weapons. So this goes for pure support or PvP support. The only two options, you go Hero Blade or no weapon. That's it. Okay, I don't care. Do not invest weapon on a support build. It is a waste of stats. Going PvP support or pure support, you never go weapon. It's not worth the investment. You need to play support. That's your job. You're playing a support. If you want to go weapon, make a whole other build, dude. Why are you investing in weapon? You're a support. So use your Hero Blade or don't use a weapon. Invest more in the utility. Do what you want. I'm not telling you which is to play pure support or PvP support. I mean, arguably pure support's kind of better, but you know, whatever. Do what you want, but don't invest in the weapon, please. It's not worth it. So when I see that the devs are adding quote-unquote charisma support weapons, I kind of cringe a bit, because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna use it, despite how cool it is. Next we have What Bell? Okay, this one, there's only realistically 2 options, but we're gonna cover quite a few. Sacred Field, okay? Corrupted Sacred Field, arguably the strongest bell in this game right now, but you know, I already know some people are gonna lose their comment section, so I'm just gonna say it's really good. It's getting an S tier. I'm gonna put it here though to the side. If you're on a PvP support build, you have to run Sacred Field. You need it, okay? You want to be as tanky and have the best survivability as possible on any support build. And if you're engaging in fights on a PvP support build, you need it. So you have to go Corrupted Sacred Field. It is so powerful, and you and your allies are not dying. And fun fact for those of you who don't know, Corrupted Sacred Field literally tracks on you and has better resistances. Corrupted Sacred Field also guarantees physical and mantra resistance. It gets both guaranteed. For example, my Corrupted Field, the last one I've gotten, it gave me 70% mantra resistance, 40% physical, lasted an entire minute within a 30-second cooldown. You know, it's very powerful, okay? So use Corrupted Field. But the reason I'm putting it off to the side is because technically, there's only one bell you should be running on a support build, and that's Kamui. So here's the thing. If someone's going to run Dimensional Travel, it's going to be the support player, okay? You have Vow of Mastery. You could quickly return everyone to get out of there, okay? There's nothing that stops your teammates from running Corrupted Field instead of you. But them running Kamui and you running Sacred Field is worse than if you ran Kamui and they ran Sacred Field, because you have all return. You can dip, you can take people out of the game quickly and then go back in when you need to. So Dimensional Travel is by far the strongest for pure support. Sacred Field's best if you're doing a combat support. Now let's talk about the next ones. And I already know I'm going to get clowned for this, but I'm going to put Teleportation in just an A tier. I'm sorry. The windup. I don't care. I already know some people are yelling at me in my community right now for this. I don't care. The windup is way too long for me to get value out of it. If I need to dip, I need to go now. I can't wait. And I get it that some of you guys are like, well, you can like play Ring Around the Rosie in the teleportation and hope you get the guy that's targeting you out of the gank permanently. I'm like, yeah, you can do that, but what if you accidentally go in it, you know? Or what if you didn't get him in it? Or like, what if you're trying to get your team out of the gank, but you have to wait a millennia because your freaking windup is way too long? Like, I'm sorry, but Kamui is just way better. I need to get out of the gank now. Anyways, let's talk about running back. So running back is a pretty good option. I mean, it used to be pretty strong. We used to be able to drink health potions in running back. Not anymore. We used to be able to spam sustain a lot, and run it back helped with the cost, but as you saw the nerf, how sustain increased by 114% with their cooldown, so you know, spamming sustain isn't really ideal anymore. So you know, it's just more of just a B tier. You can teleport, which is cool, I guess. It's decent though. It's not bad, but there's way better options. Preservation. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna save your teammates, just use command return. If you want to confirm grips, use Audacity. Okay? We have Blood Scourge, or better known as Reaper Bell. I mean, I'm gonna put this in a B tier below running back. I mean, I get the idea of Reaper Bell. It's like run in, get the grip, but one, you're using Audacity, so you could just do it for that. I get it though, that it's like, oh, you get more health as a support, or Reaper Bell is just good in general. Yeah, it's good in general, but someone else, aka your PvP build, should be running Reaper Bell because they desperately need that HP while they're constantly engaging in fights. So you as a support running Reaper Bell isn't ideal, especially for sustain cost. Like, I'm sorry, sustain is not hard to maintain anymore. It's 17.5 seconds per sustain, okay? You can't put a blessed gem on it, okay? And you take 4% damage with the Dark Scorn. Okay, you really don't need the health anymore, unless you're on a PvP build. Resurrection. If there was an F tier on this list, it would go in F tier. I'm actually just gonna put it below here. It is so bad that I don't even want it. I don't even want. You know what? No. It doesn't even get on the list. I don't even know why I put that there. It's garbage. Okay, don't use Resurrection, please. Oh, I'm fully aware that you can use Resurrection and use Command Sleep to revive your teammate. But why don't just heal them? You know, why don't just heal them or do a campfire, you know? And I don't want to hear, oh, well, you could do Resurrection in the middle of the gank. Yeah, it's not like it has a fat fucking wind-up. Anyways, we have Portals. Portals, it's a pretty solid option. Again, not better than the other options, but it's pretty solid. You have more survivability. Kind of like, it's like the same thing with Run It Back. You just get more survivability, so it's just good. And those are the only notable builds on a support build, really. So if you're going PvP support or semi-support, Corrupted Sacred Field. If you're doing a pure support, you can go Dimensional Travel or Kamui. If you don't want to do that, you can also just go Sacred Field. Okay, let's talk about the races. We have Felinor and Kaynor. These are the only real ideal races for a support build. Why? Because Felinor, you get more climb, and we're investing in agility, so it's just overall really good. And Kaynor, if you're doing a PvP support build. Why? Because PvP support builds, if you do not remember what I said earlier, because you're not listening, because I know you're probably tabbed out playing Deepwoken right now because you're a loser, you need to be using either Shadow Frost or Flame Gale. Yeah, I bet you look lost right now, huh? I'm calling you out right now. Yeah. I feel real ashamed right now. Anyways, you're going to use Corrupted Field, Kaynor, the other talent that makes it so you do less damage to allies. That way, if you ever hit your teammate, you basically do no damage while you're doing regular damage to the enemy. So just spamming big AoE mantras doesn't matter. You kind of want to intentionally hit your teammates because then you're getting health back as well. So it doesn't matter. So either of these builds are very powerful. A Frost Prism build or a Fan the Flame Servant build. Both of them are extremely powerful for semi-support builds. Anyways, back here. If you are semi-support, you go Kaynor. If you are pure support, you go Felinor. Okay. What about enchants? Sadly, there's like nothing with enchant. I'm sorry, it's just not interesting. First of all, if you're on a semi-support build, you're gonna be using Hero Blade. So this is only really for you pure support players, the based players. I gave someone PTSD, didn't I? They heard the alarm. They flipped around their room. They look. You looked at your phone, didn't you? You thought you were gonna call, or you thought you had to go to school because you're watching my video instead of caring about your education. Anyways, let's talk about that enchants. So for pure support, we have Detonation. Detonation is great. Not really, to be honest. I mean, Detonation is nice to get an auto grip if you don't have your Audacity up, and if no one else is running Reaper. Yeah, that's the issue with Detonation. You're gonna have someone running Reaper Belt in your group, and I imagine they'd be pretty pissed if you stole their grip. So only run Detonation if no one's running Reaper Belt, or if you feel like you're not gonna get your Audacity up. Next we have Tears. Tears is pretty good with the Legion crit, because it's just, if you didn't know, Tears of Edenkite does true damage. So when you combo it with the Legion crit, you do like a fat chunk of damage to who is trying to kill you. Next we have Stormbreaker. Pretty good with Iron Spear, because you can supposedly, this is theoretically, you can proc off your game. I haven't tested it, I don't really care. But theoretically you can proc off your game. And it's also just, you know, range crit. Somewhat catch runners, you know, whatever. It's not like you already decimate runners with your build with your 200 cancellation options. I mean, like, do I have to pull this up again? Like, hold up, where is it? Oh wait, we never spoke about it yet. Did we speak about it? I forgot if we spoke about it. Pure support decimates runners. We'll talk about that more later, I guess. I guess we didn't speak about it. Whatever. And then finally you have Providence Thorns. I mean, only really good for leaving depths if your teammates are selfish enough to not help you as you are support. If they're not helping you escape depths, bro, get new teammates. Anyways, because you know you're on a pure support build, so you know, whatever. Anyways, basic tech. Fleeting Sparks. Fleeting Sparks, you can proc talents like Aggressive Posture, Air Pressure, Anxious Guard, and basically if they block your stuff, they're punished for it. And Fleeting Sparks is like basically a flashbang almost. It's pretty annoying, and has amazing tracking. Then we have Sing. So if you don't remember, earlier I mentioned how Sing has a lot of interactions. Sing can force people to be dropped. Sing can cancel climb. So you know that Jet Striker who kept dipping in and out of the gank for the 200th time, you can cancel their climb by using Encore. You can stop grips by using Encore. You can stop Mantra windup. So that Dawnwalker's done his 200th kick, you can cancel it with Encore. It also has the biggest AoE in the entire game when modified. You're guaranteed to hit everyone in the gank, don't worry. And you should be using Air Pressure and Anxious Guard, because Sing proc these. If they block your Sing, you get an Air Pressure and you proc Anxious Guard. Ah, here it is. Yes, so pure support absolutely will butcher Trackstar builds. I mean, look at this. You taunt cycle, so they can't jump, take 20% more damage. In core interactions, like I mentioned here, they can't climb. The slowing tether, Linkstrider, you know, the red tether, slows them down. Crippling consumption. They can't use mobility monitors for 15 seconds, including things like Wind Passage, and weaken Wind Passage to them. We can then use things like Fleeting Sparks to harass them, Audacity to hold them in place, Assassinations because we blind them, making them so they can't jump, and 20 seconds of anti-heal. So that one guy who thinks he's really good at boss range because he ran around spamming Bloodless Gems the entire time, well, now they can't heal for 20 whole seconds. Isn't that great? You also have Sparkswap, which can be helpful sometimes if they don't parry it. Anyways, let's talk about equipment and armor. I don't care what you say. You're using the Darkscorn. And I know someone's tabbed out right now. And you're using the Darkscorn. Okay, I know it's annoying to get, but you're using the Darkscorn. Or you could use the Authority Helm. Anyways, yeah, you have to sustain damage. So, you know, use it. And these are the 3 armor choices you can do. Black Diver is by far the best because it has 30%. I mean, the stats are overall just great, but it's the shadow armor that I always look at. So if you are experienced with pure support, one of the most common things that are going to be hitting you are big shadow monsters. So having high anti-shadow is really nice. But you know, it has 10 willpower as a stat requirement, so if you don't have that, you can go with the other options as well. Another one, Ignition Deepdelver is a great option. 35% physical, 35% elemental, you know, that's kind of it. Whatever, you could do that though. Or you can do the Darkened Bastion. Yeah, it would be real fun to grind for this thing, isn't it? Anyways, it's basically just a knockoff Black Diver. For pure support, that is, it's a knockoff. Because it has the same elemental, but again, if you notice, it has the same shadow armor. So hey, pretty good with that. And you have good sanity, so you know if someone's spamming insanity potions on you, you know that plus 16 sanity might come in clutch. You know, you never know. Anyways, let's talk about my current support build. Here it is. This masterpiece of a build that I made with my friend. So, I taught you everything you need to know in the video. Obviously, you still have to learn how to actually play the build. So, if you are struggling to play the build, you can always join the Discord, ask for help, and I'll give you some tips here and there. I'll also do VOD reviews for free. Here in the build, 50 Thundercall, because we want our talents like Static Clone and Sparkswap. 55 Gale, because we want Spectre Path and our other Gale stuff. You know, 100 Charisma, 150 Strength for Audacity. We want Fortitude, you know, for Fortitude talents. 100 Agility for Assassination talents. And that's it. Pretty simple. Talents, though. You need all of these. I don't care. This isn't me just putting in random shit because I thought, hey, oh, this looks good, this looks good. No, you need all of these. All of these have an exact purpose, so equip every single one. So FYI, you're going to need a moonseye. I didn't speak about Spectre that much, sorry. I should mention that while we're here. But Spectre path is amazing if you are low on health. Yeah, it's a good way to get away. So for those of you who don't remember, a while back, mobility monsters will scale on your health. So the lower health you have, the worse the mobility mantra will propel you. So Spectre Path is not a mobility mantra, so that's why we run Gale Wisp. So Gale Wisp will actually make Spectre Path last longer, and because of that, we can use it to get away from ganks way easier. Oh yeah, and one shadow for clutching shadow. For those of you who probably weren't listening, you can spam clutching shadow because it doesn't target allies and it's just overall really short cooldown. And it's basically like that combo setup. You know, you're giving your friend that layup and they're gonna do that slam dunk on your mom. It's just really good. Next, here's your modifiers and gems. So you can pause the screen if you want right now because I know someone's probably tabbed out. You have dash, Sparkswap, taunt, sustain, clutching shadow, revenge, wind passes, sing, strong leap. You need strong leap, trust me, I know you have great climb, but if you want the same mobility as a jet striker, you're going to need strong leap. Gale Wisp and lightning clones for static flash clone because it's amazing. Then you have all your gems here. You know, you're doing a blue gem on sustain. Anyways, that's it with the modifiers. You can pause the screen here. Let armor like before, Dark Scorn or Authority Helm if you don't want to get the Dark Scorn because you're dumb. You're dumb. And here's some tech. You can pause the screen again. Here's some tech that I wrote down that I kind of just remembered off the top of my head. There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot to support. So if you do poorly, please send me clips of you playing, and I'll gladly review them for you. Okay. There's a lot. Okay. And there's a very high skill ceiling with this build. So you need to send me your clips if you're doing poorly. Oh, and finally, Rampart Campfire. Okay, so I've known about this for months, okay? But I really try to avoid talking about this in videos because it's just terrible, okay? Y'all glaze it a bit too much, okay? It's not good. here's the thing. Okay, it's very, I mean very easy to counter Rampart plus campfire. Oh yeah, let me make this clear. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, if you do Rampart and put a campfire on it, you'll just stay floating in the air when the Rampart goes away. And what some Linkstriders will do, they'll just stay on it, keep sustaining their teammates, and because they're on a campfire, they're just getting rid of the downside, and if anyone tries to get them, they'll just parry attacks. So, this is, on a paper it sounds pretty good, and if you're lucky it can work pretty well, but it's not the best. For one, here's all the downsides and here's all the upsides. So for one, you're not keeping your tethers active. Okay, remember those tether buffs I told you that are really good and how Linkstrider promotes you on keeping your tethers active, because that's kind of the point of Linkstrider, to be the pocket oath, you know? It's kind of like that's what was envisioned by the dev who made it. I don't know who made it. You're forced into one spot being immobile. You're not moving anywhere, you're just stuck. You're just sitting there like a monkey in the middle. You're not going anywhere. Just like you are in life while watching my videos. Anyways, you still need setup time to even pull this off, okay? If you need to relocate your Rampart campfire thing for whatever reason, you need setup time, okay? For those of you who don't know, you can climb Rampart again. So if you do your Rampart and campfire, and if someone's chasing you, they could just climb your Rampart and kick your ass. And the biggest nerf, you can't do Audacity spam, okay? You can't spam it. How are you going to do Audacity up there, okay? The point of Audacity spam was to run around, get in the middle of like a big fight, drop your bodyguard, and proc Audacity on every single enemy. That's the point. But you can't do that if you're just on a Rampart campfire. You can't do that. You can't do taunts. You can't do assassinations. You can't confirm grips because you're not using Audacity. You can't do anything. You're not confirming anything. You know? Sure, yeah, your teammate's gonna have Reaper Bell, but if for whatever reason you're by the, I mean, like, here's what I mean, like, there's gonna be times where you're by a guy that's down. You're gonna be the closest. So you can proc Audacity, and sure, you don't have to grip the person when you proc Audacity. You can just, once you proc it, you can just pick them up and run over to your guy who has Reaper Bell, and they get value from it, you know? But you can't do that if you're on Rampart campfire, because you're just immobile in one spot. And yeah, all return, it still has a range, you know. It has a range, okay? It's pretty decent range, but if the gank starts moving around, especially in the water, you know, you can't really do much anymore, can you? And oh yeah, the funniest thing, I think it's pretty funny, the playstyle is completely luck based, because if anyone just has potions or bombs or any sort of vertical movement, you're cooked. And realistically, I know no one runs bombs, but I'm sorry, like, bombs don't take any sort of talent room, okay? It doesn't take any talent room. You could just have bombs in your build, and if you see that guy doing the campfire Linkstrider bullshit, you could just chuck a bomb, and oh no, now he's falling down because you broke his campfire. Like, oh my gosh, man. The upsides to this, though, if you're lucky, it has really good survivability. You just have to parry everything, and you can return people up there, and they'll have good survivability. And you can also Kamui as well. Kamui is really good with this. That's it, though. Congrats for those of you who watched this video. This video probably got like a handful of views, to be honest. I doubt anyone actually watched this game. I don't know. But yeah, that's support for you. I hope you enjoy. And like I said, if you need help, or if the build's not working for you, you can message me on Discord, preferably in the Discord, not me directly. But I will answer DMs directly, but preferably not. I'd prefer you asking like the general, but whatever works for you.